Last week, I came to you with this huge story about a massive number of sexual assaults in Cologne, Germany on New Year's Eve, reportedly perpetrated by men believed to be of North African and Middle Eastern descent and also followers of the Islamic faith. Now, there were two stories within that original story. Story number one was the alleged cover up of their background being North African, Middle Eastern, and of the Muslim faith. Part two of that story was this code of conduct that was proposed by the mayor of Cologne for women, which led to people reacting and saying that sounds like victim blaming. This sounds like the focus is merely on women rather than the perpetrators. The focus is not on all of the things it should be on. That story was last week. In the week since, Lewis, we have now seen a number of stories break, similar stories from other countries, and I'll tell you about some of those. And this is very, very disturbing. To begin with, Hamburg, Germany. In Hamburg, Germany, let's not even start in Hamburg. I'll start in Frankfurt. 7 women in Frankfurt, Germany, reported being sexually assaulted by men, reportedly of North African origin with, quote, strong Arabic accents. In Hamburg, Germany, 39 women have reportedly been sexually assaulted on New Year's Eve. We have more reports from Germany, from the cities of Berlin and Stuttgart and Dusseldorf, but we also have reports from other countries altogether. Indeed, we have reports from Switzerland, and we have reports from Finland, etc. But before I even get to those, let's look at some of the specifics of the reports in Germany. The reports from Berlin mirror those from other cities in terms of the apparent Middle Eastern or North African origin of the alleged perpetrators, and indeed an Iraqi and a Pakistani man have been arrested and reportedly came to the New Year's Eve events from a refugee camp. In Dusseldorf, we had 11 such incidents, and 2 in Stuttgart. All incidents involved perpetrators identified as North African, Middle Eastern, speaking Arabic, Arabic accents, etc. Now going to Helsinki, Finland. Police in Helsinki are reporting an unusually high level of sexual harassment reports from New Year's Eve. And they said they were tipped off to this because they heard that groups of asylum seekers and refugees were planning to harass women on New Year's Eve. And then we also know, Lewis, from the beautiful city of Zurich, Switzerland, that 6 women reported being sexually molested and robbed on New Year's Eve, with an additional 24 reports of theft alone, also reportedly happening, quote, in a crowd of multiple men with dark-colored skin. Of course, having dark skin does not prove anything about your descent or your religion, but that is what we heard from the reports there. And then lastly, going from Switzerland to Salzburg, Austria, police in Austria say they're investigating, quote, a number of complaints of sexual assault on New Year's Eve. 3 men already arrested. Lastly, if we go from the large cities we are now done with, this is not just in large cities. In a smaller Swedish town named Kalmar, at least 9 women have reported sexual assault on New Year's Eve. The alleged perpetrators in Sweden did not speak or understand Swedish. So reports from various countries, Lewis, talk about the possibility that refugees or asylum seekers could be deported if found guilty of sexual assault or theft. Without question, at this point, they should be deported if they are found guilty of that at a time when they are seeking refugee status. Do you not think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't understand the mentality of someone who is seeking refuge, is seeking asylum, and then decides to go out and do something like this. Is it because they feel that, have they been, I don't know, do they feel like they've been mistreated? Do they feel like there's some injustice happening and this is some type of rebellious act? Or is this just a bunch of pigs acting like idiots?
This is really shaking up the left, including for some of the reasons Lewis mentions. The right knows how to respond. We don't agree with the response from the right, Lewis, but the response from the right is Muslims are bad, get them out, stop refugees, stop asylum, stop the whole thing. The left is more unsure, right? Do we ignore their background or do we talk about their background? Do we ignore or not or not ignore that they're refugees or seeking asylum? How do we critique this? Majid Nawaz wrote an article in the Daily Beast about this, and I think he is absolutely spot on. Let's take a look at what he had to say, Lewis. He said, yes, it is racist to suspect that all brown men who look like me are rapists. It is bigoted to presume that all Muslim men who share my faith advocate religiously justified rape. It is xenophobic to assume that all male refugees are sexual predators awaiting their chance to rape. But let me be absolutely clear. What will feed this racism, bigotry, and xenophobia even more is deliberately failing to report the facts as they stand. Doing so only encourages the populist right's rallying cry against, quote, the establishment. If liberals do not address such issues swiftly with complete candor and courage, the far right and anti-Muslim populist groups will get there first. They have been doing so for a while now. Read the entire article by Majid. We are linking to it from our YouTube page. Absolutely spot on, Lewis. The left has to take this head on without skipping key details.
Oh, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
And immediately after posting our first video in response to the Cologne stuff, it was just comment after comment about how this is happening in other places, multiple comments about how this type of thing has been happening in Sweden for quite some time.
Right.
And huge issue. You know, what good does it do the world to just deny that this is happening?